have Matt, Nico, and Sharon. Are you Sharon? Are you Sharon?
I am Sharon.
Okay, could you put your state your full name, please?
Sharon Langford.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Langford.
I am Keegan's grandma. Keegan was my first grandchild and only grandson. From the very beginning, we had a special bond. As a child, Keegan spent a lot of time with us. We have a pool and he loved to swim. We baked cookies. He loved Jell-O with whipped cream, which he called frosting. One Christmas, he wanted to make the whipped cream. He whipped it, and unbeknownst to me, he added the sugar. The whipped cream was almost pure sugar. Key and Grandpa would go camping in the woods behind our home. They would put up the tent, build a fire, roast hot dogs and marshmallows. Every year, we spread 30 yards of mulch. Key was there to help us every year. When he was 5 or 6 years old, he shoveled 2 yards of mulch off our truck all by himself. Even at that young age, he had a great work ethic. As he got older, he was there to help us no matter what. We took Key and his sister Maggie to Disney World, Toledo Zoo, Cedar Point, many other places. We made many trips with Key and Mags. Keegan's Grandpa Don had a record business, and as a baby, Keegan would ride along on the record calls. Key would spot a wrecker on the road long before we saw it. He would say, "Tow truck!" Wreckers were in his blood at a very young age. Then Key's dad, Matt, started a wrecker service. Matt was a second-generation tow operator. Key was a third-generation tow operator and was just getting ready to start his own business. I do believe if Keegan had not had his life cut short by a distracted driver, Nora, Keegan's daughter, who was with him when he was struck and killed, possibly would have been a fourth-generation tower. She has towing in her blood too. She loved to go with her daddy. By the time Key was 9 or 10 years old, he could hook up a car all by himself. It was hooked right and ready to be towed. People were in awe and they would ask, "Does he really know how to do that?" At the age of 16, Key started driving wrecker for his dad and gained much experience. Many times his tower friends would call Keegan and tell him they had this situation, and what do you think I should do? Or if Keegan was able, he would drop whatever he was doing and go help them. Sometimes he would drive an hour or so just to help a tower friend. After he was killed, they had bracelets made up that said WWKD. What would Keegan do? Key was a hard worker and worked many long hours in the snow, the heat, and the rain. He would say, "It's a good day to be a duck." Key would call me and say, "Grandma, I have a few minutes between calls. Will you make me some French toast or scrambled eggs? I'll be there in 10 minutes. He always gave me a hug and a kiss when he got there, and a hug and a kiss and an "I love you" when he left. We knew Key had a lot of friends, but had no idea how many until over 1,100 came to his visitation. 600 to 700 tow trucks with over 1,300 attending his funeral. Towers from all over the country and Canada reached out to our family. They had met Key over social media. Key was a person that if you met him once, you liked him and remembered him. He built hundreds of relationships this way. I met a gentleman who owns a huge tow company when we were at the Chattanooga Tow Museum, where Key was inducted on the Wall of the Fallen. He told me he doesn't have time for most young kids in the tow business because they feel the world owes them. They are lazy. But there are 2 young men that he has met that he had the utmost respect for. Keegan was one of them. He said Key would have really gone places in his life had not his life been cut short by a distracted, speeding driver who was on his phone 13 seconds between hitting him. Payton, traveling at 80 miles per hour, you are traveling 117 seconds per second. My husband is a retired state trooper, and he was an accident reconstructionist, and he calculated this out for me. Payton, the day you struck and killed Keegan was one of the worst days of my life. I remember when Key's dad got the phone call from a fellow tower that a record driver from Towzilla had been struck and killed. My body went limp. Then I was in denial, telling myself it wasn't Keegan. Matt immediately left, and within a few minutes, Key's sister Maggie was there. I kept telling her that we don't know it was Keegan. She kept telling me, Grandma, it was Keegan. I just couldn't accept it. I was in a fog for months. I still wait for him to call, text, or walk through the door. Key loved his family, especially his daughter Lenora. He was so proud the day she was born. You could see the love in his beautiful blue eyes, and she loved him. She was a daddy's girl, and you took that from her. Nora will never have her daddy at her first day of school, or to go to a daddy-daughter dance, or be at graduation, or walk her down the aisle when she gets married. Key and Nora will not be able to celebrate any of her milestones together. Because you chose to speed and be on your phone, her daddy is gone. Key only got to celebrate one Christmas, one Thanksgiving, and one birthday with her. Key also loved his soon-to-be stepson, Riker. Payton, you killed him on November 4th, and on November 15th, Key and Riker had plans to go hunting. Because of you, that little boy didn't get to do that. Key loved his family and worked very long and hard hours to support them. He was the provider for that family. Lenora was in the wrecker with her daddy the day you struck and killed him, taking him away from all of us. When the day came I could think straight, I didn't want you, Payton, to go to jail for a long period of time because you were 18 and I thought you would have to live with what you had done for the rest of your life. You have drugged this grieving family through hell. We have been to court 6 or 7 times with you showing up twice, even though at your arraignment, which you did not show up for, the judge told you you would be at all future court dates, and you said you understood. The first time you showed up, you, your family, your attorney met with the prosecutor. Our family and some of the tour friends of Key's were out in the hall waiting. When you and your family walked past us, showing no remorse, you were all smirking as if to you and your family it was just another fun-filled day in the Ferris household. No big deal. Second time you showed up was to enter your no contest plea. Because of you and your family's attitudes, I hope and pray justice will be served for Keegan and our family, and you spend a year in jail, maximum fines and penalties, and I would love it if the judge would make you pay child support for Nora until she is 18 years old or graduates. You and your friends have been posting pictures on social media of you, Payton, living your best life. These are your words, not mine. You show no remorse that I can see for what you have done. I have seen pictures that you have posted on social media of you and your girlfriend while you were driving and you were taking selfies. Then your mother posts a video on her going to the grocery store. She made this video while driving, even stating, "This is against the law, but oh well, I'm alone." I'm sure Thanksgiving was a joyful time for your family because you were there to celebrate with them. We have had our second Thanksgiving without Key and preparing for our second Christmas without him. All we can do is sit around and talk about him. I hope and pray your mother doesn't have you home for Christmas this year, so she can see how it feels to have an empty chair at a holiday event. Maybe she won't think driving distracted is so funny then. In a way, I feel sorry for you, Payton, because it looks like you have never been taught there are consequences for your actions. Well, young man, I hope and pray today will be the day you learn there are consequences for your actions. I hope the judge gives you the maximum penalties, 1 year in jail, fines, costs, restitution for the funeral expenses, and child support. Maybe then this won't be such a joke to you and your family. Let your family try to enjoy Christmas or any other holiday or family get-together without you. With the attitude you and your family have, I think it would be good for you and them to experience what you and your I think it would be good for you and them to experience what Keegan's family is going through. For us, it is forever. For you and them, it is just 1 year. I am so blessed that the day before you killed Keegan, he called me just to say, "Grandma, I love you and Grandpa more than you will ever know." And I was able to tell him we loved him more.
Thank you, Ms. Langford.